In this video, I'll be showing you exactly how to create an amazing looking sales leaderboard dashboard in Google Sheets, complete with interactive drop-downs and dynamic data. And we will be building a dark mode and a light mode version of the dashboard, as well as multiple settings, theme colors, and even a data tab with formulas to populate the dashboard. So let's dive in.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to click on New and create a new Google Sheet. And we are going to rename the tab here for Data. This will be where we store our data. So we'll close this out here. And I went ahead before starting the video and grabbed some data to work with here. So I'm just going to copy this sales data and bring it into our sheet. And one thing I like to do with all my spreadsheets is my data tabs are always value pasted, so it brings over no formatting, and I can kind of format these however I want. And I like to keep my data clean, so not a ton going on. The data tab will make the dashboards nice and pretty, but the data tabs we keep pretty simple. And I'm going to format these dates here. I'm going to format number and date and just change those and center those, and do the same thing with these dates here. And some of these fields I'll just widen out just a little bit so they look a little better. Make this 100. Just going to expand these out a little bit. Okay, there we go. And we will format up our top row here just by clicking a fill color, and we'll change it to one of these gray colors here. So in this data, we have a customer name field. We have the date this customer became a lead in the system, who the sales rep was on this particular customer, a contract amount if the job sold. If it didn't, it's a 0 value. And if it sold, it has a sold date, and then it has a product type, and then the branch that that particular sales rep made that sale from. And we'll need to set up some additional formulas on this tab, but we'll come back to that later. Let's actually create a tab here, and let's name it Dashboard. And let's start laying out the general structure for this. So first, I want the sales rep here, because we're creating a sales leaderboard. Then I want leads, sales, closing rate, sales dollars, average ticket, average sale, dollar per lead. And finally, we'll call this last one volume, and we'll build a sparkline for that, which I'll show you here later. So let's just format this up a little bit. So first, we're going to put a background color here. I have a custom blue color, bluish gray color that I want to use. And we'll change the font to white, and we'll bold this up. And I'm going to center everything but the first field. I like to keep it left aligned, but everything else centered. So we'll start with that. And then I want to alternate the color of each of our rows, and I'm just going to make a big group here for now. So we'll go up to Format, Alternating Colors, and I'm just going to customize this. We're not going to do a header. And for color 1, we'll leave it like that. But for color 2, we'll click this. We're going to do Custom. And I'm going to paste a color code in here. And there it is, so you can see it, and hit OK. And there we go. We'll hit done. And we're going to extend this first row out just a little bit. And we're going to turn off grid lines here and just see what this looks like. Now I also want to create a date selector at the top and potentially another drop-down item. So to do this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new tab here. And we will call this tab Settings. And I've actually already done the hard work for you on this. So I'm just going to paste in the settings I have for our date selector and just pretty this up a little bit. And just to kind of show you what's going on here is I have simple date selectors that we can choose. For example, this year, this quarter, this month. And what it does is, based on all these formulas down here, is each one of these formulas pulls off of today's date and then returns a start date and an end date. And this makes it nice because then people don't have to randomly type in dates for a start date and an end date. They can just select a quick filter and it will filter to those dates. Now, if you want this chart, you can actually grab a copy of this spreadsheet in the description of this video. And that way, any dashboard or date selector you build in the future, you have those formulas built for you already. Now let's actually go back to our dashboard tab, and we're going to create this date selector. So what we will do here is we will type period, start date, end date. And then this one is going to be a drop down. So we'll do insert drop down. And over here, we're going to do drop down from a range. We'll click here to find our range and we'll go to the settings tab. And we're actually going to grab our date selectors and we'll hit OK. And now when we go back to our dashboard, you'll see that we can actually select one of these, this month, for example, and it'll show. And now we can just select this to choose our time period. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to merge these cells here by going to format, merge horizontally, just so it shows our date selector nice and wide here so we can see it no matter which one that I select. And we'll go ahead and merge these horizontally as well. So we'll do format, merge horizontally. And this start date is going to be a lookup based on our settings tab and this period. So what we'll do is we'll type in equals VLOOKUP. And then we're going to select the period selector. We'll do a comma. And then we're going to come over to our settings tab and we're going to select column A and B. And then we're going to put another comma and select 2, comma false. And what that's going to do is it's going to look up our date selector on the dashboard tab, match it up in this column, and then return back the start date. So we'll press enter there, and you'll see if I select this month and I come over to our settings tab, if I go down to this month, you'll see it pulled our start date right here of 9/1/2024. And then we'll go back to our dashboard and we're going to do the same thing for our end date. So we'll do equals VLOOKUP, select our period, and then we'll come to our settings tab, click on column A, B, and C this time, because now we want the end date, which is in column C. And we'll do comma 3, comma false. And there we go. And we will center that just like the last one. Now, actually, I think this might look better if we left align these to match with this. And let's edit this, go down to advanced options. And instead of chip style, let's change this to arrow. Now we got a clean drop down here. And I like that a lot better. And one other thing we're going to do, just because it'll make it look a little bit nicer later, is we're going to insert one column to the left here. And I want to get rid of our alternating rows here. I'm just going to change this to B7. Hit done. There we go. And I'm going to resize this column to 50 just to give us some padding here on the left-hand side. Actually, I'm going to resize that down to 40, just like that. Okay, and now what I will do is I'm actually going to select this area here, and let's change this fill color to our blue color. Make the text bold. Let's change the color to white. Okay, so now that we have that in place, if I come up here and I just change these around, if I go to last quarter, you'll see it's changing the dates. If I go this year, it'll change the dates again, and we'll just leave it at that. And now what we want to do is we want to start filling out our sales leaderboard. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get a unique list of all of our sales reps. So I'm going to come over to my data and I'm going to copy our sales reps list here, and I'll come up to the top. I'm going to come out here to the right, and I'm just going to paste special values, and then I'm going to click on data cleanup, remove duplicates. Data does have a header row, and I'll click remove duplicates, and now it's going to tell me I have 8 unique rows, which is my unique list of sales reps. So I'm going to copy this group here. We'll delete the sales rep right there. Come over to our dashboard and I'm going to paste special values in here, and then go back to our data tab and we can get rid of this. We don't need that now. And since we got some extra rows here, we'll just hide these. So in the future, if we add more sales reps, we're going to add those back in. And now I can start pulling data based on the sales rep and based on the date selector. So the first thing that we want to add up for each sales rep is how many leads each one of them got. Now there's a number of different ways that you could do this. For example, I could do a count if for every time the sales rep appears in our data tab. But what I like to do is actually make it nice and self-explanatory, and I can run sums off of all of these, is to create some formula columns in our data. So what I will do here is I'm going to type leads. I'm going to type sales, and we'll make that match our formatting of our other items. And for leads, essentially, anytime there's an item on this list, I want it to be a lead. I'm just going to type 1 in here, and we'll center this, and we'll copy that all the way down to the bottom. And now for sales, it's going to be a little bit different. So for sales, what I want to do is create a formula that essentially says if the contract amount field is greater than 0, then give me a 1, otherwise give me a 0. So that way I can sum up all the ones that are sales. So for example, if I do equals if, parenthesis, the amount here in D2 is greater than 0, return 1, otherwise give me 0, close parenthesis, and let it copy that formula down, and now we can center this. So now that'll tell me all the jobs that we had sales on. And one thing that I like to do on all my spreadsheets in my data, anytime that I add formula columns, I like to color them a different color. So that way when I paste my data in the future, you know, for example, if I'm exporting this report out of a CRM, and want to just dump it all in here, or if somebody's manually entering this in, they don't overwrite the formula column. So I like to leave those like that. And one other thing we're going to do while we're here is we're going to click on this first cell here, A1, and we're going to go to View Freeze up to row 1. And now when we scroll down, those headers will stay at the top. And I'm also going to go View Freeze up to column A. So now if I scroll to the right, I'll still be able to see the customer name. That just makes it a little cleaner when you're working in the data tab. So now let's go back to our dashboard. So we know that we got our information from where leads will come from. We know where our sales number will come from. Closing rate would just be a formula off of those two. Sales dollars is already a field in our data tab, which is off of the contract amount. Average sale would just be taking the sales dollars divided by the number of sales. Dollar per lead will be sales dollars divided by how many leads. And then volume would just be the sparkline, which will show us which rep has the highest sales volume. So now we're ready to start building some formulas. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to sum the number of leads that each sales rep got. And how we're going to do this is using a SUMIFS formula with an S at the end, because we have multiple criteria that we want to sum by. First of all, we want to sum it by the sales rep, but we also want that based off our start date and our end date. And I'm actually going to show you a pretty cool hack to have AI generate this formula for us. So I'm going to open up a new window here in ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, help me write a formula in cell C7 of the current tab I'm working in. I want to do a SUMIFS formula that sums the number of leads in column H of the data tab if the date in column B of the data tab is greater than or equal to the date in cell C3 of the current tab and less than or equal to the date in cell C4 of the current tab, and the sales rep in column C of the data tab is equal to the sales rep in cell B7 of the current tab. And let's see what it returns here. So it's created our formula for us here. Now it's given us an explanation. So what I'm going to do is click copy this code here, come over to our spreadsheet, go in cell C7, come up to the formula bar, and I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to press enter. And this says that Kyle Spencer got 51 leads, and we're just going to double check that. I'm going to come over here to our data tab and just do a quick check of this. So I'm going to copy Kyle Spencer and just do a quick sum if, and I'm going to do Kyle Spencer, or the sales rep field based off of Kyle Spencer, and we're going to sum the leads tab, and boom, it's 51, which ties back to what we got here. And that was based off of all the data for the year. So now we know that is right and we are good to go. Now, one thing that I want to do is tell ChatGPT to make this formula where I can copy it down without it getting affected. So I'm going to say, can you add to this formula so I can copy it down to cells C8 and so on. And let's see what it does here. Let's copy this code and let's come back to our sheet. Come back here. Let's wipe this formula out. Let's paste it back in. And now it's there. And now when we copy that down, you'll see that it put in these absolute references here. So now it always pulls off of C3 and it always pulls off of C4. Now what I also might do, and this will make sense here in just a minute, say, can you also lock the references so I can copy it over to other columns. And we will copy this, and just so we know everything's working, we're going to delete it all back out. We'll plug it in here, paste in that formula, and boom, there we go. And now the reason I did that is because now, watch this. Now if I copy this over to our sales field right here, we get the same number. But now all I have to do is go into my data tab and I say, I don't want H anymore because that's leads. I want sales, which is in column I. So if I come back to our dashboard, all I have to do is change here where it says H to I. And now it's going to sum all the sales there. And then our closing rate, we just want to take our sales divided by our number of leads, and we'll do that. And we can make this a percentage. We can center that. And then our sales dollar field, again, since we locked those ranges, we can copy this over, come back to our data tab, and we know that sales dollars is in column D instead of column I. So we will change this to D. There we go. And I will go to format number and get rid of the decimals there. And now our average sale will do equals that sales dollars divided by the number of sales. Now we got that formula. Do format number, and we'll center those, get rid of our decimals there. And then our dollar per lead will be sales dollars divided by the number of leads, which is a great metric to rate your sales reps off of. We'll do format number, get rid of the decimals, and center that. Okay, so now I want to create our bar type sparkline here to give this a little bit of a visual feel to it. So one of the things I want to do is I want to get rid of the alternating colors here. So we'll just change this to H33 and we'll hit done, and that will get rid of that. And then what I want to do, and now we want to update our volume column here just to give our data some visual appeal here and make it easy to show who's our highest performing rep on our leaderboard. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this alternating colors here. Just make this through H. Okay, we'll do that. I spent some time putting together this formula. I'm actually going to paste it in here, and then we're just going to adjust it. And we're going to make this off of, make this F7, because that will be our sales dollar amount. And then we'll do F7 through F14. which is the bottom of our sales data there. I'll press enter there, and you'll see if I copy this down, it'll change the size according to the sales volume here. So Mary Bryan here at 935,000 has the highest sales. And what we will do is we will change this color. I'm thinking to like a bright blue color. So I grabbed the color code here. Let's plug this in. And I'm thinking we want like a bright blue here. You know, like maybe something, one of these two. See what this looks like. Let's grab this color, replace this code right there. Yeah, there we go. Boom, there we go. And now that's looking good. And if I change it to this month, you'll see how it changes everything. But one thing I noticed here is some of our formulas here are showing errors when there's no dollar value. So the easy way to fix that is if I just go to this column here and I put if F7 equals 0, 0, otherwise if D7 equals 0, 0, otherwise keep the formula. All right, and I can copy that down. And just to be safe, we'll do the same thing here. If F7 equals 0, give me 0. Otherwise, if C7 equals 0, give me 0. Otherwise, give me the formula. We'll copy that down. And there we go. And we'll do that with our close rate too, just to make sure. D7 equals 0, give me 0. Otherwise, if C7 equals 0, give me 0. Otherwise, give me the formula. We'll close that there. Copy that down. Mess that up a little bit, so fix that. Now copy that down. And if I change this to last month, you'll see it changes the data around. This person didn't have any cells, so no sparkline. Looks like Mary's been killing it again. If I go to this quarter, if I go to last quarter, kind of switches around. Theodore was in the lead then. And one other thing I could do here is I could insert a column here and put rank. And for this formula, I can go equals rank. And I'm going to select sales dollars, put a comma, and then select all of these to let it know what it's ranking it out of. I'll close that. It's going to tell me that that's number 2, but you can see that's number 2, that's number 1, right? And we're just going to make it where we can copy this formula down. So we'll lock those, and boom, there we go. Now we got our rank. And then what I want to do, I want to copy this down to here. We'll actually do it down to here, and we'll hide this, and we'll say total. Get rid of all of these. And down here, we'll do a sum formula to sum up everything here. And we'll copy that over there. And then here, instead of taking an average, we want to get our true closing rate for all of that. So I'll do paste special formula only and paste that formula there. And then go format number %. Here we want to just sum that up. And then this, we'll copy that formula, paste special formula only, format number, get rid of our decimals. We'll do the same thing here, paste special formula only, and we'll actually copy our formatting from that one with the paintbrush. And then we don't need anything for these two. And then anytime that I want to run this, all I got to do is come up here, select all of these, and I can do data sort range, advanced sort, say that my data has a header, and I want to select the rank field and sort by that. And now it'll be sorted by the rank. And let's say I want to say, no, I want to see the year-to-date view. Well, now I can click this year, and then all I got to do is sort it again. So data, sort range, advanced, data has header, rank, hit sort, and now it's sorted by rank again. You can change your rank off a closing rate, your dollar per lead, or any field that you wanted your rank to be based off of. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to spice up our dashboard a little bit here, and we're going to add some cards to our dashboard just to make it look a little nicer. So we're going to insert some rows here. And we're going to play around with this a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Insert Chart, and we're going to move this over, and let's change this to the scorecard chart, and we'll add a key value here, and let's select sales first. Let's do that and hit OK. And you'll see what that does is it actually pulls the top sales amount, and we're going to customize this. So we'll go to chart style, and for the background color, let's actually make it our navy blue color, and let's lighten up this outline color just a little bit, make it almost like a drop shadow. And then let's go to our key value. Let's change this text to white. Let's make it bold and let's center it. And then let's go to our chart title and let's name this top sales volume, and let's bold that, center that, and let's also make that white. And then we're going to resize this whole thing here, bring it down to something like that, and let's actually change this key value font. Let's bring this down to, let's try to put in something like that. There we go. And here we go. And now let's bring this over here. And I actually think we'll make this second, because what I want to do, so I'm going to copy this. We're going to put this one here, scoot this over, and we'll center these when we get done. And let's change this one to total sales. And let's edit the key value. We'll do from data, back to the setup. Let's change this. And we'll just select the total down here and hit OK. And now that'll show the total sales of the team. So we have that. Now let's copy another one here. And let's name this one closing rate. And go to the setup, change the key value here, and we'll get rid of that, and we'll just choose the total closing rate there. Click OK, and then we'll copy this one more time, and we'll make this one $1 per lead. And this will just give us some overall team metrics that we'll have on our dashboard, and then the leaderboard would be beneath it. And we can customize this. Going to the setup, let's change the key value. Let's get that out of there, and let's grab this $1 per lead average and click OK. There we go. And now we can change the alignment on these to line up better with our chart here. We'll make that just a little bit smaller, and there we go. All right, so now what I want to do is make our dashboard look a little bit better and add a graphic here to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into a program called Canva, and I'm going to create a new design. We're going to do custom size, and we'll do 500 by 100, and we'll click on create new design. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an icon here, and I'm just going to put sales icon and search that, and we'll actually do that under elements. And let's just take a look, find a good icon that represents sales. And I'm thinking something like this. So we'll grab this, make it pretty big, and we'll adjust that later. And now let's try to find a cool looking text here. Something big and bold. Let's just choose a heading here. And let's try this font here. We'll do sales leaderboard. And let's try a few other fonts. Let's look at League Spartan. And I like that a little better. And make this a little bigger here. And then let's make this icon make more sense with this. Maybe something like that. And then let's move both of these over to the middle. And now we want to get our colors. And I'm trying to see, I think I like that down near the bottom a little better. And let's grab our color codes here from our leaderboard. So we need our gray color. So if I click on the little eyedropper tool, we just grab this color here, get the color code right there. Let's go back to Canva, and let's change this text color to that color code. And let's see what it looks like to use the blue from our sparklines here as the icon color. So let's grab that, come back to Canva, make this custom, paste that in. Looks like it didn't copy it. Go back to our eyedropper, copy that from here, change this color. There we go. Looks pretty sharp. Let's grab these again, make sure they're centered vertically and horizontally. And let's do share, download, PNG, transparent background, and let's download this. By the way, guys, if you grab the copy of this template in the description, you'll actually have access to all these color codes. It will be on its own tab. So that way you have all those you can copy and paste anywhere you need. But let's get rid of that and let's bring in that image we just downloaded. So we'll go insert image and we'll do over cells, browse our computer, go to our downloads, grab it and bring it in here. And then all we got to do is line this up where we want, something like that. Maybe bring it up a little bit, maybe in there. Nice, there we go. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to show you how you could duplicate this dashboard so that you have a light mode and a dark mode. So I'm going to come down here to the dashboard tab. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to click duplicate. So we have the exact same dashboard and I'm going to rename it and I'll just call it dashboard dark. Okay. What we're going to do here is start making some adjustments. So where I'm probably going to start here is with the background. And I went ahead and grabbed some color codes and put those on the settings tab for what we're going to be using in this dark mode. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the background here. So I'm just going to take all the cells that we don't have anything and make those dark first. So in my settings tab here, I'm going to grab this color code and copy it. Come over to here, change this background to a custom color, paste that in, hit OK. And then we'll do column A here in that same color. We'll fill in these rows in that color. We'll do all these cells here. And we'll just keep doing this. Our logo will look a little weird till we change that later. Fill all this in. And fill that in. There we go. So for this, we will probably get rid of the alternating colors. So we'll just get rid of that. Done. We'll just click on remove alternating colors. There we go. And for this section here, let's go back to our settings tab. Let's copy this color code and edit that background color to that. Let's change all of our fonts here to white, and I'm going to set this to that same color, but then I'm going to try to darken it up just a touch for the totals line. Hit OK and see what that looks like. It's a little too dark, so let's undo that. Do that again, but just slightly. There we go. Actually did that one row too low, so I'm going to copy that. I'm actually going to change this total row here to a little bit darker color than what we have here. Change this heading row a little bit darker as well. And let's play with these a little bit. Let's go to the background color and we could go something like that, or we could go really bright. Let's see what our color codes here look like. Let's grab this one. Go to our dark theme, click on this, customize chart style, change this color. Let's do a custom one. Let's throw that in there and see what that looks like. We got that, or we have like a blue color here. Let's copy this, customize, paste in our blue color. And I actually like that one, so I'm going to customize all these the same way, that blue color. If you wanted to, you can mix these up so each one of these cards looks a little bit different. I like the more uniform look, and let's actually change our sparkline. Let's see what it looks like in that color. We'll change all those real quick. Okay, there we go. Now let's change this up here. Let's see what this looks like with the bright blue color. Kind of like it. Now let's go back into Canva and let's duplicate this page. And now let's edit this text, make it this bright blue color. And let's see what it looks like if we make this white, which we won't see it here, but we will when we put it on the dark background. Go to share, download. We'll do just page 2, transparent background. We'll hit download and let's get rid of this. Let's go insert image over cells. Let's browse for that downloaded file. Go to downloads, grab it here, and we have it imported here. Right about there. I don't like this color too much. When I go back this, do it like that. That looks a little better. Yeah, like that. And I want to see what this looks like. I insert a row here and just make this kind of like that. No, if we resize that to like 10, just trying to give it a little bit of padding, a little bit of breathing room. Resize this to 10. And then make that fill color. We don't want to do that all the way across. We just want it right there. Yeah, I like that. So now if I just come up here and change our dates to this month, for example, you see everything on the dashboard shift, who my leader is, and basically everybody by volume. If I go to last quarter, shifts again. Theodore was the man last quarter. And if I switch again to last month, it shifts. So you see all the cards changing, all the data changing, and you could resort by the rank each time that you updated this for a different period. And that, guys, is how you create a dynamic sales leaderboard dashboard in Google Sheets.